Hello and welcome to IASPrimers. My name is Shubhashish Singh Rehal and you're watching a comprehensive analysis on manual scavenging. Now before starting with this video, I have a message for you. If you are a serious aspirant of UPSC Civil Services and watching our videos, I would suggest that you keep a notebook so that you can jot down the important facts, schemes and measures concerning any particular topic. And that is the core idea of our videos on IASPrimers, to make your life easy. In fact, I can give you an assurance that our content, if you write it down in an organized manner or the manner in which the content is provided, it will help you in your mains answer writing. Your answers would be ready and that is all you would need. Now moving on with the analysis. Now recently a controversy has erupted because the government in its, they have to make certain declarations in the parliament. So the government said that no deaths have taken place due to manual scavenging. However, it acknowledged that 941 people had died while cleaning sewers. Now this people, activists, experts have raised concern over the government data. One thing, it seems that the government is it is exploiting a technicality, that is, it is identifying the cleaning of sewers and manual scavenging as two different things, activities. But if we go by the law, remember that there is a law that prohibits manual scavenging. So 1993 and 2013. We will come to those laws. So according to it, the manual scavenging refers to the practice of manually cleaning, carrying, disposing or handling in any matter human excreta from dry latrines and sewers. So what the government is trying to suggest that there is no manual scavenging in terms of dry latrine. So this was a traditional practice that used to take place in a society where the people from the lower caste were forced to take the latrine of the people. So this is the dry latrine. Maybe you can see this woman is collecting. She will take it, keep it in her hands or pick it up on her head and throw it somewhere else. But then this definition also includes any manner and even cleaning of sewers. So in urban areas, you would have seen this. This is a semi-urban area where a person is cleaning an open drain. So the human excreta is flushed into this open drain and this person would be identifying a fault in the drain or cleaning it. Or it could be in a normal urban environment where a gutter is there, it is choked and this person is trying to clean it. So these are all examples of manual scavenging, and somehow it seems that the government is trying to undermine this problem. This may be because the government itself through a law had prohibited manual scavenging. And if the government itself employs urban local bodies, and I'm not talking about just the government at the center, I'm talking about the government at the states as well as urban local bodies. So it is urban local bodies which are engaged in the cleaning of the sewers in the urban areas, the cleaning of gutters, etc. So they themselves are guilty of employing people and then making them work in a hazardous environment without any safety kit. So without any safety kit, that is, they are working with the basic tools, and then I also mentioned that they belong to the lower caste. Now these people, we're talking about the death because when they go inside the gutter, anybody goes inside the gutter, there is a scarcity of oxygen. In fact, there are various toxic gases that come from the excreta and the human waste. So they are poisonous gases which reduces the amount of oxygen. So breathing is difficult, and as a consequence of this, there is asphyxiation. That is lack of oxygen and human body dies. And beyond this, because of the exposure, the human skin and something maybe going into the mouth also, so they are prone to diseases like cholera, hepatitis, E. coli, rotavirus, all these diseases, including cardiovascular complexities, heart attack. So that is possible. Now this was the health aspect, but then there is a social aspect as well. The people who are engaged as manual scavengers, right? Somebody who's cleaning the gutters and the drainage. So they are subject to indignity and discrimination. And I told you before also that these people belong to the lower caste. So this is one area of concern. In fact, even amongst the community of Dalits, the untouched people who are engaged in manual scavenging, they face discrimination amongst the Dalits. And if we talk about the women have to look into the discrimination. They have to face the discrimination that a normal manual scavenger experiences, but then they also have to face the discrimination on the grounds of gender. And if we compare, we can say that the manual scavenging is like a modern day slavery. It is like a modern day slavery because it is hereditary. People who are manual scavengers, their children end up, because of the discrimination, they do not get avenues of education. Nobody wants to sit with the children of manual scavengers because they may be unclean, and then caste bias is there. So it is hereditary. And because there are no other options, it is compulsory. And it does not allow for social mobility. Social mobility means moving from the group of manual scavenging to maybe getting an alternate livelihood which has more dignity. So that is not available especially to the group of manual scavenging. And then the government itself, through various reports of the government acknowledged the problem of low remuneration. They are forced into contracts which are quite unfavorable. Low remuneration, poor social safety nets, all the factors concerned over here. Hence, it is equivalent of modern day slavery. Now coming on to the number of manual scavengers. So in this report that I said that the government has talked about the deaths, the government said that they have acknowledged 58,098 manual scavengers. And this was according to a survey that took place in 2018. Now this number seems to be very small as compared to the data that we get from the socio-economic caste census. Even if we talk about the data from the from the government itself, from the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, they say that there were 87,913 manual scavengers from 14 Indian states. So 14 Indian states, that too statutory towns. So the number is going to be much more. And as per NGO, so Safai Karamchari Andolan, this number, the number of manual scavenger is going to be somewhere around 12 lakh, which seems to be most reasonable because there are 26 dry latrines in our country. Got it? So you can say that the government estimates that there are 58,098 manual scavengers, but according to an estimate by the Safai Karamchari Andolan, there are 12 lakh people engaged in this appalling practice. Now moving on to the constitutional provisions. Naturally, this practice of manual scavenging is a violation of certain constitutional rights, such as the fundamental rights. So it is violative of the right to equality under Article 14. Then let's have the images first. So Article 14, because we talked about the caste, and Article 15 talks about prohibition on the basis of caste. That is, no discrimination to take place. So here discrimination is taking place on the basis of caste, and these people are subject to untouchability. 17 provides for abolition of untouchability. And clearly Article 21, which talks about right to life, right? But various judgments of the Supreme Court, like the Menka Gandhi versus Union of India or the Bandhua Mukti Morcha versus Union of India, it says that the right to life is not just about physical existence, that you are actually living, you're breathing. No, it is about right to live with human dignity. And it is quite clear that this is not a life of human dignity. In fact, they work in very harsh working conditions. These are not human conditions of work. So various judgments of the Supreme Court have called out the government for this appalling practice. And then there is directive principles of state policy, which are a set of directions to the government from the constitution makers. So according to this, Article 41, the government is required to provide the right to work, education, public assistance. So for manual scavengers, they are required to provide alternative livelihood. Article 42 talks about just and humane conditions of work. The government has to provide that. It has to look into the aspect of educational and economic interest of the backward groups. And manual scavengers, even amongst the scheduled castes, is the most backward. And then Article 47 talks about the duty of the state to raise the level of nutrition and standard of living to improve public health. So one thing is that the government needs to ensure that these rights are provided to the manual scavengers. Now beyond this, the government has been focusing on a two-pronged strategy. One thing that the government says is that the existence of dry latrines, that is, we can call it as insanitary latrines. Dry latrines, I hope you get it. When we go to the bathroom, most of us who are watching it, we will be using the flush-based toilet. So the excreta goes into the closed drains. So that is sanitary latrine. The insanitary latrine is the one that you saw over here. So these are dry latrines. So these dry latrines should be stopped. No construction should be allowed because ultimately somebody will have to pick this up. And then those people who are engaged in manual scavenging should be rehabilitated to a different occupation so that they can live a life with dignity. So when we talk about this insanitary latrines, as per the census, there were 2.6 million dry latrines. And then if we talk state-wise, there are certain states where the number of dry latrines is much higher. So Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Jammu and Kashmir, Maharashtra, all these states have higher number of dry latrines. And for this reason, if you remember, Prime Minister Modi had initiated a scheme known as the Swachh Bharat. And Swachh Bharat, number of toilets were made. Now beyond this, the government has introduced certain laws or legislations. I gave a small reference when I talked about the 1993, that prohibition of manual scavenging has taken place. So this was first time it was done in 1993 through an act known as Employment of Manual Scavengers and Construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act. So this prohibited the employment of manual scavengers for manually cleaning dry latrines and also the construction of dry toilets. And it said that somebody who violates it, then in that case the person will be imprisoned up to a year or a fine. And then 1993 seemed inadequate, so subsequently in 2013 a new law was passed. And this widened the scope of the original law, and further it had a provision of rehabilitating manual scavengers. So the provisions of the 2013 law are as follows. So it prohibits the construction or maintenance of insanitary latrines, all the same points over here. Only thing is, the most important one is, it calls for a survey of manual scavengers in urban and rural areas with a time-bound framework. Because until unless you don't identify the people who are engaged in manual scavenging, nothing can be done. And it is here when the experts and human rights activists, when they called out the government of the low number of manual scavengers, that no deaths have taken place, or the number of people are around 58,090. So this seems that the government is somehow shying away from its responsibility. And then the government has also introduced a scheme, a self-employment scheme for the rehabilitation of manual scavengers. So according to this scheme, basically loan is given. Loan up to amount 10 lakh rupees so that a person can be engaged in an alternative activity or vocation. And if the manual scavenger says that I want to be engaged in cleaning itself, then in that case he can be given a loan of 15 lakhs provided he invests in machinery, etc., for mechanical cleaning of the septic tanks, etc. Now moving forward to the challenges. Now one challenge is that one of the provision of the 2013 law is to provide land to the people who are engaged in manual scavenging. Why land? Because in rural India, majority of manual scavengers exist. So about 70% is in rural, 20%, 27% is in urban areas. In rural areas, land is important as it's a way of earning income through farm income or agricultural activities. So land was to be provided, but the time frame has not been specified. Then the correct and timely identification, again important, timely. By how much time it has to be done? It cannot be infinite time. The law is there, but it has to be done in a specified amount of time. So timely identification of insanitary latrines and manual scavengers. So again, you saw the discrepancy between the figure given by Safai Karamchari Andolan and the government. Then moving forward, the 2013 law has a provision of prohibiting hazardous cleaning of sewers and septic tanks. But we see very poor implementation. Those images that you saw, those were very recent images. So implementation of this provision is very, very poor. And even when people are actually cleaning it, right, they are not provided with the suitable safety gear. So safety protocols are not being followed. And in this reference, it is important to talk about the responsibility of officials. So the law calls out for the responsibility of the officials because it is ultimately the people, the bureaucracy, the urban local bodies which are employing people in cleaning of the drains. So it is their responsibility, but it doesn't talk much about it. It does not spell out administrative measures beyond conduct rules. So it sets a code of conduct, but beyond that, nothing else has been specified in the 2013 law. So this is a serious drawback. Now, if you note over here that the steps that you see are purely on the legal and the administrative side. I have not said anything political. So as far as possible, when you're writing your answers, try to stay away from the general viewpoints. Like if you read Down to Earth or any other magazine or editorial, there is focus on the government not being serious. I have said that, but in a different manner. So this is a template that you can follow subsequently also. Now moving forward to the next, or the conclusion, right? The challenge of rehabilitation is urgent and requires a comprehensive approach. And it should be beyond income generation or providing loans. Remember the scheme on rehabilitation? It is focusing on income generation or providing loans. We need to look at the other aspects. We need to look at the social aspect of discrimination. We also need to look at the future of the next generation. The next generation, the children of the manual scavengers, should not be forced into this modern day slavery. So this also needs to be looked into. So first step is to ensure discrimination-free, secure and alternative livelihood. And this could be done by skill development. Remember the scheme, Skill India? You can mention few schemes over here. So skill development and to provide livelihood training to women. So you have included a gender aspect. Then government employment schemes can be linked over here. That is, the government itself has certain employment scheme. So manual scavengers should be given a priority. Vocational training should be encouraged. Then this is not sufficient. We need to create a favorable environment. That is the society in which the people live. The manual scavengers, people who want to move out of it, should not be discriminated. In fact, even those who are in that activity. And this can be done by community awareness, sensitizing the public. And we also need to sensitize the local administration who is ultimately employing the manual scavengers, who are not implementing the provision of cleaning of the septic tanks or hazardous cleaning, whatever. So this is very, very important that they need to be sensitized. They need to provide safety gear, all of it. And lastly, we need to build the capacity of the community. Which community? Community of manual scavengers. So we need to engage the capacity so that they live a better life. And we need to focus this by promoting rehabilitation. and self-reliance, and also build leadership in the community with particular focus on Dalit women. Always focus on the gender aspect if possible, wherever possible. So this is all we have in this analysis on manual scavenging. I hope it ends soon, right? So this is a comprehensive analysis on this topic. You were watching IASPrimers with me, Shubhashish Singh Rehal. Now please do remember to like, share and subscribe. Bye bye, take care and all the best.